Thermal imaging. So why would I want thermal imaging inside of a ghost hunt? Oh, come on, guys. It's interactive.
Changes.
How so?
Like something maybe much colder.
Exactly. We're looking for cold spots, everybody. Like, it's that simple. So this is a FLIR camera. This is what firemen use to actually help save people. It is a phone attachment. So this is the real deal. This is not a phone app. Now, we're going to be doing some starts and stops with this guy because as great as the hardware is, the software sucks. So your video may be between an hour to an hour and a half in length total. But the cool thing is about why I start this video right here is because I'm explaining how to use it. There's a blue dot bouncing around the screen. So that blue dot is going to actually help you when you're watching your video on where to find the coldest spot in the frame at that particular moment. So what exactly are we looking for? You guys should be able to all see me in there, right? Red, orange, and yellow guy? Yeah, this is going to work because the ladies outnumber the fellas. So I'm the hottest thing inside in the picture right now, guys. So yeah, see, you guys didn't ruin that joke. See? Good. My bachelorette party's that kills, just so you all know, because I'm normally drunk by the time I get here. But anyway, we're looking for blue and black. Obviously, orange, red, and yellow are the warmer areas. Blue and black to either take shape or to start moving on their own. So we have seen it. We have caught it. Is it an every single night occasion? Not necessarily, but we are on a 99% full moon tonight. We never know what's actually going to happen. Plus, we're in October. So, Ryan, I think this one's going to go to you. You've been nodding your head a lot like you know what the hell I'm talking about. So I'm going to actually stop the video, which is that little red square. It's going to turn to a circle. Look at her. She's like, I got this. Let's go. So, see, I told you I cracked jokes on the We started here for a reason, but you guys are going to make me talk all night, so I'm going to take a quick drink before we get started on why we started here. So, Big John's Tavern. Of course, it's haunted. That's why we started here. That's why it was in your text message this morning. I wanted you to remember that name so that way you knew where to go and not go get drunk. So, and by the way, thank you for all showing up sober. That's a very big deal. I normally walk away if there is one person drunk on the tour, just so you all know. You all got a very expensive equipment in your hands, so it's very much appreciated on a Saturday night, especially when I got 4 ladies in front of me. I never know what I'm getting. I told you all that earlier. Did you say, wait, I am drunk? Like, hang on, stop, hold the phone, right? But, Big John's. This place used to be owned by a football player. His name is Big John Kennedy. Now, he played for the 1947 New York Giants. Whenever I'm giving you the history of the building, I will do my best to slow down specific keywords that we normally get at that location for your spirit boxes and communication devices. Anyway, here's why the place is haunted. He used to sit in the back of the bar. And he would basically tell the bartender if the cadets, if they were coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink. And then the guys came up, they weren't old enough to drink. The bartender told them out. They left pretty angry. They came back the next time. They tried to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John saw what was going on. He slammed down his beer, goes over and he just starts pounding on these guys, beating the hell out of them. Well, a couple of gunshots went off. John got grazed in the neck. The bullet landed behind him on the wall. He gets up after being the only one that's been shot. He goes back to the bar, tells the bartender, get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor in ambulance. And normally if I tell you a building is haunted, you automatically think of some kind of tragic death that may have occurred there. It's not the case here. It's haunted place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. Even if it's not, this new renovation of Big John's would have filled in that bullet hole and sealed Big John's blood inside the wall. People that sit in front of this bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, or headache. This is exactly why we started here. This is kind of a heated warning. We're seeking out paranormal activity tonight. Nobody feels any of those symptoms. I'm always going to blame our weird weather first, especially if you're not from here, just because not everything is going to be paranormal. I'm not that guy, and I'm definitely not a TV show. So, but I still need to know so we can move the whole group and get that person to safety. Is that fair? Okay. So, you guys been taking other ghost tours around town or other history tours, anything? Wow, nothing at all? Holy cow. So I can lie to you all night long?
We have before, just not this trip. Yeah.
Broke off in the front on East Bay Street. And had to shove somebody in the back of the head. Killed him. And the previous owner of this bar said he used to see dark shadows after poisoning on East Bay Street. And I say allegedly about that because I don't have any proof. It's just a great speculation. So, is everybody ready to go ghost hunting?
Yeah.
All right, let's go learn more about these devices. We're actually going to go this way.
I'm certain already. What the fuck? Like, so for him, I'm gonna shit up like this. And it disappears. Oh, this.
it's normally just a quick stop anyway, just to kind of give everybody a better gist of what goes on and, you know, how to use your equipment. So first off, those of you with cameras, we will be in spaces where there's cars and people walking by. People do not like their cars to be filmed, taken pictures of, and they definitely do not like to be filmed themselves. So, Ryan, you probably were the wrong person to give that to because you're like way up here, like, event. Amy, right? Let's say Amy hears the answer of no. That means somebody's here. So is anybody here? She hears no, that means somebody's here, right? They're lying to us. So we are not going to be asking yes or no questions all night long. So all of your TV shows, you're all going to laugh at them because that's the first thing to start off with every episode, just so you guys know. But we're going to be going after some of the details. Now, teaching people how to use these kind of devices, it's a matter of asking questions you already know the answer to kind of get you used to how to listen to it. If somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, we are looking and listening for the color red. So most of you are using song lyrics and DJs to be able to convey messages back to us. The color red might not be available to relay as a message, but fire truck, blood, heart, those three things are specifically red. I would take that as an acceptable answer. What color is the big red barn? She hears blood. I'm good with that. However, most of the night, you guys have all my gear out tonight except for laser lights. So we're going to talk about those later on. Lasers get Nick in trouble if we don't use them properly. But at the same time, it's a matter of those. I'm going to require that there's at least two things going on with your devices. Again, everything is out. Something else should be happening if somebody else has a partial phrase. Let's kind of give you another example. Anna, right? Let's say Anna's word list has the word art on it. That doesn't mean anything to us over here by itself. Michael, right? So let's say Michael, here's the number 40. Together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You guys see where this is more about putting clues together, like an escape room, than it is so much a ghost tour? So again, we're going to be working together, but I'm going to be kind of the gatekeeper. I'm going to be keeping track of almost everything that's going on, so that way I can kind of piece it all together for you. So that's why you guys keep me around to kind of think outside the box. So cameras, again, you guys kind of have the gist of like the rules of how to do this. Like how you switch, give it to the shortest person.
Exactly.
So with that, Dancie, you're going to try to do two things for us. You're going to try to keep one of us in view at all times.
Yes, I have everyone.
Well, the reason for that, I know I said don't film other people because they didn't pay to get filmed. We all did. But the reason why is we're going to be the warmest thing out here. Much easier to find a cold spot when you have a hot spot. So kind of keep that in mind. The other piece is keep the sky out if you can. Some places that's going to be impossible. The reason I ask her to do that is because the blue dot bouncing around the sky defaults to the sky because there's no surface. So that way we can actually find the cold spot on surfaces rather than trying to look at the sky that's going to say 30 degrees and we're going to get excited, and it's not really that exciting. Right. Your ambient temperature tonight is about 69 to 70 degrees. I will be looking for anything 15 plus degrees lower than that as part of an anomaly. When I'm going through your videos. So it's normally 15 degrees or more.
I've been watching.
So 69 degrees, we're looking at 54 and below is usually the marker for that. So then with your camera, nice and easy. Nice slow movements, the slower the better. When we capture orbs on that thing, which we do quite often, like it's normally not from a fast moving video. Like it's the slower you can move, the better. So you already kind of know the rules on that one. Everybody else, I think, is kind of getting the gist of how your devices work. I am going to be working with Natalie once we get to past this space, and after I give you the history of the next location, we kind of spread out. So again, that one I like to show you like in real time because it is a little bit more complicated. So I say we get away from football players and ponies. Is everybody ready for some real history? Now that you're trained and ready to go? All right, let's see what we're going to get ourselves into tonight.
I'm trying to get everybody going.
lyrics, DJs, commercials. Whatever voices you hear come through, for example, and I'm sorry I didn't maybe explain this a little bit further, if you hear a DJ say, welcome to Charleston, you know, buy a Kia today, those are the types of things I want you to tell me, because welcome and buy might actually mean something very specific to the location. If you hear a song lyric like drop it like it's hot, might actually mean that there was a fire in that location. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for. Very beginner methods. So most people that I deal with have never touched anything like this before, so I make it as simple as I possibly can. So good question. Any other questions about your devices? Perfect. Welcome to a parking lot. You made it. So congratulations. I told you I'm taking you to weird spaces. So first off, all of those with cameras. We are in space, obviously, with lots of vehicles. So you know, be filming people going through vehicles, taking pictures of vehicles. Those types of things. We're all responsible, right? Good. Let's move on. It's like me, not me over here. I'm going to film every car.
I know. I was filming everybody's spirits around him.
So. What is this place? This used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. It actually sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street, where all those cars were parked. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant over there and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So those of you with communication devices, by the way, I am not going to be giving you questions like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there with the big red barn. You're going to get the answers from your spirit boxes, and I'm going to withhold information on purpose. But remember, I can prove all of it. So kind of keep that in the back of your brains. I'm not here to make shit up like Zach Bagans. For those of you know that haze, go ahead and chuckle. It's funny. Now, who the heck were Charles and Eliza? They had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Charleses. Do you see why we look for secondary clues at this point? We need to know which Chuck we're chatting with. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I need politics more than everybody here. So, we're going to move on and we're going to talk about Eliza, right? It's all about mostly going to be about females tonight, so if you have a problem with that, I'm sorry. We have a lot of heroines in this town. Eliza, she married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. If you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, you're not going to get numbers like 12 and 14, like the colonial times that she came from. You think of today's standards. The only reason I bring that up is because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they married. So it's kind of a creepy age gap back in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now. So kind of keep that in the back of all of your brains. But she married him because her father was over in England and he thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Well, Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she got married in 1744. You don't get married in 1744 for a green card. We're not even a country yet. She did marry him out of love. And there was no foul play, so you don't need to ask any of those questions. She did remain a widow after his death. We won't get into that right now. But she was correct. Her father did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to this space. One of those gifts happened to be the plant seed of indigo. You guys have been in town for a few hours, at least that I know of. You've seen the word indigo somewhere. I can promise you that. Indigo is a plant that makes our blue jeans blue. It makes the blue dye for it. So, Ben's actually wearing it right now. So, I think. It's in a weird light. But anyway. That's kind of the example I like to give. But at any rate, Eliza didn't know what to do with these seeds when she got them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's not always hot here. So when she figured it out, she actually moved to a cash crop plantation to the south of here, gets a hold of her father and says the rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with this indigo. And now we have an international businesswoman during colonial times. So that's the boring stuff. By the way, an international businesswoman in colonial times is something absolutely unheard of, especially for the time frame. So let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why everybody's here, right? You guys are waiting for all this weird history. So I usually like to kind of go through each spirit box and give you a series of questions to focus on. If you want to cherry pick from whatever else I gave somebody else, by all means do so. But with the Ouija board back there, Ryan, I don't have anything for that guy yet. Yeah. So you're going to be the cherry picker.
It's going crazy right now.
What do you got going on? What letters?
No S's. CGC.
A bunch of letters.
Yes.
Can you unscramble any of them to make a word? I'll take a look at it in a minute. How about that? I'm the English guy. I'll take a look at the word scramble. So
we didn't start going off till we got over here.
Okay.
Yeah, mine was saying like S something when I was holding it. So
with yours, Robyn, I want you to focus on Eliza's death. Anything you want to ask, how old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, and which president was the pallbearer at her funeral. Like, obviously, a lot of non-yes-no questions. So, no spirit box, you have a spirit box. So, with yours being the new guy that I just put together, I want to try to keep things simple for you. I want to, just because I don't know what's going to come out of it yet. The mansion's not here anymore. Ask what happened to it. If you get an answer, when did that happen? We're obviously looking for a very specific date. We had 2 digits out of the full date of that last night, but we didn't have that third clue of like, hey, here's what actually happened. So it was exciting to get an exact date, but not to the actual tragedy. So kind of toy around with it and see what you can get out of it. With yours, how many children Eliza had and what their names were. Do not ask anything else. The reason why there's a tragedy among the children. Do not poke the bear with this one. This is a very respectable family, and we'll know all activity will stop. Which, by the way, are we getting any readings out of yours at all? Both of you.
Yeah, I got a little.
Okay, so you got about 10 to 15. Have you had numbers?
Just like anything above.
Okay, nothing above 2.5. No. With yours, Anna, your spirit box gives us a whole array of things. So I want you to focus on Eliza's maiden name. Here's the reason why. She's the second wife named Eliza in Charles back to back. The first wife, Eliza, dies in January of 1744. He marries the one we just spoke about in May, 5 months later. So first wife dies, 5 months later he's remarried. Both Elizas have a maiden name that starts with the letter L. So again, very interesting that I've gotten both maiden names here. But maybe try to get Eliza's birthday out of you too. That might be a good one for your spirit box. I haven't tried that one without in a while. We'll see what goes on there. With yours, Mike. What else do I know? Actually, was something out of that mess kind of, because I think I handed them all out. We have this new extra spirit box in here, so I kind of got things a little bit scrambled. Is anything like really picture fancy?
I had it told out, so I knew this.
But did you find any questions that you really wanted to know the answer to? Maybe we'll stick with Eliza's death out of your group too. So how old she was, what she died from, where she was buried, and what president was in front of her. So kind of go after, things wrapped around her death specifically, so that way we have both types of spirit boxes doing the exact same thing. So we'll kind of do that. So again, more experimentations. So your video's already recording, which is good. So Dancy, go ahead and hit that orange circle if it's not already there. A lot of cars in here tonight. It kind of limits our space, but there are some little tiny tucked corners that we might be able to hang out in and kind of see what's going on. So let's spread out a little bit, and I'll be with all of you in a minute, but I'm going to keep Natalie behind. Again, a little bit of a blip. Remember, actually, this is a good explanation. So these two devices are measuring electricity in the air. So I'm going to be doing a lot of debunking. How do you guys have a lot of people
I'm always supposed to have someone in view, so come up here. I'm losing people.
I started didn't move till I
walk that way.
over there with it.
I just gotta have a heat signature. Walk to this corner.
Remember when I made all that stuff on it? The original? Come here.
I gotta have you in this view.
I'm asking you a question.
What?
When you first got this, what letters were on it?
S and something.
SXNL?
Yeah. So same thing. You're supposed to be asking that questions.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, it's a Ouija board. Yes, you are. Ask him. Ask him what the best questions are. I will. With you. Where's someone else from our group? You always have to have someone in view. You said, start recording. Actually, I just got in trouble for recording.
Okay.
I'm not supposed to ask you a question.
Yes, you are. I'm pretty sure. I need to walk back in that corner, but I need to ask him something.
What is your name?
Yes. Where are you from? Is this Elijah? Elizabeth? Elijah? What was the name? What was the name? Yeah. What is your name? It's a good question.
Stupid shit.
Shut it. I'm having fun.
No, I'm not having fun. That's actually interesting. I started going off on myself. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Oh!
Just sitting here asking.
Look, let's ask him.
Sure you can hear us.
Yeah.
It wants someone in view and you're not in view. Ooh, there's a 67 back there.
Something happened?
There's a 67 back here.
Over me? Because it just my thing went off.
No. Well, we want him to ask questions.
Don't turn nothing.
So,
But you want him to ask questions.
hang on, let me explain what this guy's doing first. So these two over here, this is getting we're only working with EMF.
Right.
This is for temperature, this one is for tap.
Gotcha.
So if this was turned all the way up, every time you kind of teach the ghost to touch it, that's what that's there for.
Gotcha.
So I'm
Gotcha.
still teaching these folks how to use this
Right.
Yes.
with the ghost. It's not you guys, it's the damn ghost. So we'll take a look at this. And when I say let's go ahead and clear it, you're going to turn this counterclockwise till it clicks,
Gotcha.
and then turn it back up a quarter turn. It does other things. So just to kind of give you a gist, when you turn this dial, the next thing it gives you is, come on, give it to us. Yes, no, which obviously you know I hate. The next one are numbers.
Yes.
But it doesn't save them, so you have to remember that. That's why I don't like using it so much.
Yeah.
And last but not least, it gives you emojis, which every 1700s ghost knows what the hell emojis
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
So that's why we're going to stick to letters.
Yes.
We're going to get out of the way of this real quick.
Yes.
We're going to try to come in part. This controls the speed of the cursor.
Okay.
So, like, moving it super fast is not going to do us any good because it's way too fast.
Right.
But you can feel the click in the center. Kind of keeps it at
I'll
an
let
even
you
Steven.
re-add it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this controls the sensitivity of how sensitive the EMF targets will be. So any variation at this point, because I have it turned all the way up, is it's going to stop that cursor and give us more letters. So if I say like you're getting like Q, R, S, T, U, V, and they're all in a row, obviously that's way too sensitive. We want to turn it back and just turn it counterclockwise, just a quarter turn or so, and kind of get the sensitivity out of it.
Okay.
So again, yeah, turning all those other guys up, yeah, that's going to give you just a whole shit ton of
Yeah,
mess.
that's what I was doing. That's why I
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got this.
All right. Cool.
As far
I
as yours,
turned it
Do we need to
off.
ask questions for this?
No, it's on.
Or we need to just let it run?
You can ask questions.
It
You can
is
cherry pick
on.
whatever.
Ryan, walk with me. I need a heat signature. Come on. Come on, let's walk to this corner. I'm recording you doing this. Walk to this corner. Come on. I need a heat signature. Stop messing with me. Come on. Get in front of me. Oh, that
They have
I do
disappeared.
not-
I think they're in the corner up there, next to the left. Maybe. That's that car.
The tall person.
I think. See something moving over there.
Everybody pose.
You need to film them.
I am.
So we're going to escalate that 3 because you've already given me a 3.5. So don't give me anything below that 3.5 at this point, so that way I'm not writing down the whole different number. Okay.
Where?
Fire.
I need your heat signature over there.
That's your question.
Get your heat signature over there.
I'll get it once it's setting it off.
So you want to know what's relevant out of that mess?
Sure. Fire was the first one, by the way.
And you're standing right where the mansion is, and yes, it caught fire. That's what destroyed
That's
it.
kind of what I was wondering.
Did you ask anything about the president?
I did. That was the liquor age and the president were the two ones that I remember.
You have the answer.
I kind of wondered if it was the first. Yeah.
You have
Back up a little.
96993. She did die in 1793.
Back up.
So again, you're still asking questions about her death. It's really vague because you have so many other numbers there. So again, I'm still gonna put it into the notes just because it's noteworthy. Fire obviously was a big one. 40. You gotta remember we have number 4 somewhere else. That means it's 44, the year that they got married. So again, I kind of look at. Sometimes I'll get you might hear, make your appointment at 2:30 today, and then somebody over there heard the number 5. This address is 235. So again, it's about piecing all of this together. So you have some good stuff, like great starter clues, but you're missing a lot because you've never done this, which is why I spot check everything. Sure. Not to mention I'm bouncing around with everybody else, and we already have how she died on another spirit box over there. They're learning how to listen to it, but the word list gave us the correct answer. So before we leave this space, I'm going to give you all of the answers, so that way you kind of have a gist of what actually how this all ties together. But good job with the first. That's a big one. Most people don't pick up on that. Hey, answer the president was, I got the list first. So you've got a lot of readings going on.
I'm just getting the most feedback over here, which is why I had her come over.
You do have an antenna on. So you need to antenna up a little bit.
Oh. I haven't gotten anything discernible, but little snippets of. I can hear music, but I can't discern what it is.
I got a 9.5.
Perfect. The normal spike of what I find here is between 18 on your device. So I don't get super excited when we start going over 22. I still keep track of it because obviously it's getting everything all night. I've had nights where I come in here and we've gotten nothing. So very seldom, but there's been nights where it's my group wants to piss off the thinking and we got absolutely nothing. So it's good. You guys are almost matching up as far as really good. Everything seems to be wrapped around her death zone. Fire. Let's see if we can get any more food wrapped around the fire. You got any other lighters showing up on here?
No.
Nothing at all?
No.
Okay. Turn up that sensitivity a little bit underneath the red light. Remember, turn it clockwise.
Yep.
You got it. All right. Let me pull up the other group again.
I'm kidding.
Next spirit box. And what do we got in here? What else would be a last name? So we'll do that. Annie, got anything?
No Christian 70.
When did 70 start?
When we were walking down that street there.
That's how old Eliza was when she died. 70. So, any letters going on over there?
No.
All right. Let's huddle around a little bit more because this is considered quiet here. So, quiet is asking for names. Here's where you're at first off. You're inside Lodge now. So, if you cross that last crosswalk and go down East Bay Street, that's where the original Charlestown Wall used to be. You are standing on one of the first streets we ever had. The cool thing is I have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived down here. I normally get the same 2 names from you guys every 6 to 7 weeks. Luckily for you, this is the last night of week 7, and I haven't gotten the 2 names yet, so I'm hoping that the 2 names are going to pop up during my spot check of Robyn's reporting. So those two names are Benjamin and John. Now, again, I know I said John earlier with Big John's name, but again, you guys had no idea which names I was actually looking for. Benjamin and John, the only thing I have about these gentlemen is that they lived here at the same time. They lived here in 1801. And when I tell you that people lived down here, and I have the full list, 2 to 5 people lived down here at a time. It's not a full lengthy list. It's like 2 pages long. It's not that long at all. But John, there were 4 different Johns that lived down here during a 60-year time frame. He likes to give us his last name so we know that it's him. His mother was evil. She named him John Johnson. So his last name will show up along with his first name and the name Benjamin all in the same evening every 6 to 7 weeks. Here's why that's happening. You're standing on Belgian blocks. They've been here since 1739 that we know of. Historians can't even get it right. Basically, the stone tape theory states that any natural stone, and these are made of granite, that is a natural stone, can hang on to the consciousness of memories of the things that occurred here if they've been in that space for a long period of time. I'd say a few hundred years is a good length of time. So, exactly. We are going to be measuring the bricks. So, the two of you, I'm not looking at colors at this point. I want you to pick any brick you want. You shouldn't have anything coming out of granite. It does not hold an electrical charge. Last night we had to go all the way up to an 8.8. I was pretty stoked. I have seen it go up to 15, but never, it's either one or the other. We never really had it in between. So pick any brick you want to and lay your device on the ground. This guy's going to be trying to ride. That's awesome. Be part of the scene.
He's cutting through. No, he's going for that money.
Yeah, definitely pick any brick now, put your device right on the ground and let me know if you get a reading. So 4.9, obviously in an area where we're not supposed to have anything. If you're not getting anything higher than that, so I get very excited when I obviously hear things Benjamin and John coming out of you guys. I'm going to write it down. I don't know if there's a Carol on the list. Every once in a while we'll get a third name. The name is Jane. That's a third person out of that 1801 roster. 3 out of 5 isn't too shabby. I mean, Jane is not very commonly heard, so we think plain Jane being here all the time on a radio station doesn't show up all the time. The other history about this space that we'll get clues to, the reason why it's called Lodge Alley, this is where the Freemasons had their Masonic Lodge. So we will get terms wrapped around the Freemasons. On the red spirit boxes that with the earbuds, we will get the term Illuminati as you guys are walking into the alley before you know that there's anything dealing with Freemasons here. And yes, it's funny because who the hell is talking about the Illuminati on the radio? That's the first clue. Second, why are we only hearing it in this space? 6 times last year, 3 times so far this year. I verify all 9 just to make sure. Because when somebody says Illuminati and they're laughing about it, I'm turning around and I'm like, are you serious? So I'm literally writing down the time because it's such an odd term to hear on the radio. It's something you definitely want to verify. We've also gotten other terms like symbols, Freemason, Mason, Founding Fathers, the phrase will come through a spirit box. And we get a lot of things wrapped around the Freemasons. We don't spend a lot of time here because, again, this is a residual ghost and it happens every 6 to 7 weeks. We're in week 7, so again, I kind of stall a little bit just to get us some more, media, so that way we have more to go through. We're going to go to another alley from here. The weird thing about that alley is I can't take you all the way through it like what we're doing now. I'm going to kicked out. You guys have all my blinking lights and noisemakers, and it is considered residential at the end where we're not allowed to be. I got caught in early stages of my career doing tours. But we're going to stick to one side and start staying out of the way of the other tours. We're going to start getting into those busier areas that I talked about. Do you have any that are showing up at all? Yep, nothing. So, with that said, for those of you recording the video as we exit, please stop your video. And he thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money. Tells Amanda, get rid of this doctor. He's just after your money. So Dr. Ladd, to prove that he's not after her cash, moves to Charleston. He's coming into town, a coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. So it wasn't a good start to his stay here. Somebody was walking by. His His name is Ralph Isaacs. I stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island.
Ooh.
RI shows up here even before I had the Ouija board device on other spirit boxes. But it is a relevant clue to two different people. We need a secondary clue to verify it. Anyway, he tells the doctor, I know this guy, he's going to try to kill you. Don't go in there. I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can rent a room from them and you'll be good to go. So Dr. Ladd takes him up on the offer and they become friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving the point that he's not after Amanda's money, which means Amanda's moving down soon so they can get married. Dr. Ladd becomes known as the whistling doctor because he literally whistled all the time. This is the late 1700s where that was a jovial thing to do. So there is, obviously you can see where the ghost story part of this is about the whistling, right? But let's get back to Dr. Ladd and Ralph. They go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's just the way the hierarchy works in Charleston at the time. On the way home, they go see Richard III, but they're talking about this new actress that was in the play. Dr. Ladd thought she was great, and Ralph not so much. They start arguing, and then Ralph starts insulting Amanda, the doctor's fiance, back home in Rhode Island. It gets very ugly, and they go their separate ways. Ralph has a lot of friends here. So he goes to his friends at the newspaper. He puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd sees the newspaper ad and rebuttals with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this. They come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. Ralph has his one shot. He puts it in the kneecap. Dr. Ladd drops to the ground. His friends pick him up and carry him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. You gotta remember, he's a doctor. He probably tried to bleed this out himself. So the campfire ghost story part of this is that as you walk through this alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. They used to take my tours all the way through here where we would be using the voice recorder. And for the past year, I just started coming back into this little end again. Because I was telling the story over there on that white building where you guys would all line up and film it from there. But I've been kind of sneaking in because I pissed off the neighbor at the end. I'm getting to that. But I want you to keep in mind, if you're going to walk through this alley later on without me and use your voice recorders from your phones to listen to it later, keep in mind every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street is going to throw a whistle down the alley. It's just what we do. I do it every single night, especially since I got booted out of here. So I do have some whistles that I can't debunk, but I also have a lot of fake ones because that's what happens in this alley. You all hear how quiet it is? I think you said something about along the way here, how creepy and spooky it was as we were cutting through the lot. We're only 2.5 blocks away from East Bay Street, and it is still busy down there. You can't hear the traffic down there, even in a busy Saturday afternoon. So again, it's easy to capture the whistles down here when they do occur. The funny thing for us is we're listening to radio stations. Do you know how many times they capture a whistle in a song? So Guns N' Roses' Patience, Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger, it's in a commercial, or we just get it by itself in a commercial or something. It's the weirdest thing. I've been capturing more and more of them the past few months. It's almost like Dr. Ladd's getting used to how we're working out here. Here's how I got booted out. This is the fun part. This is what everybody wants to know. I used to take my tour all the way through, like I said, because at the end of this alley are bricks. They're sun-dried bricks because they're older than these because this end was cut off at one point. So those bricks are sun-dried from slave children. There's a full handprint on the other side in a brick of basically a slave child's handprint and fingerprint swipes on the other side. So we're going to let this group kind of pass through right up. Yeah, people are talking like that. That's a subliminal message because it's your own name. So I hear my name all the time. All right, so did everybody notice that there was all kinds of tours moving all over in that corner over there? There's a reason for it. We're going to go through it briefly just because I let them have that. It's their one show and tell. For most ghost tours, that's their finale because they have something to show. So again, obviously you guys have been playing with weird gizmos and gadgets all night, which is what your show is. So I'm still going to tell you what goes on over there just because we might get something to it over here. I call it bleed over. Even when we were at Pinckney Mansion site, we could have had something relative to Big John's and vice versa. Once we left the Pinckney Mansion site, between Philadelphia Alley, what we're going to be discussing here with Pirates, and we don't see a whole lot from Lodge Alley in this location, but they're all over there because there's a sign right inside the gate of the cemetery. It says, "There's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost." There's a reason for it. 1888, a young lady died by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. So her initials, because we talked about initials earlier with Ralph, SHH. Those are the initials we had twice last night. And it's very cheesy and campy, but we do get it. Again, I hate telling you, but it comes up all the time. So, because Sue Howard Hardy has a lot of syllables to spit out on a spirit box, just kind of picture that. But anyway, she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. You heard 4 days, so that was incorrect. But she dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story. They make it some big elaborate thing over there, but in 1987, 99 years later, a local photographer is taking pictures of all of our cemeteries, putting a book together, and he captures a full apparition in one of his pictures while he's developing them. It's 1987. He doesn't have the tech that we have now to be able to figure out what the hell is going on. He sends it to Kodak, and I don't think I have to explain what Kodak is to anybody in this group. So my young teenagers think it's a bear, just so everybody knows, like they think Kodak. But anyway, Kodak doesn't know what to do with the photograph either. So for guys like me, this thing is obviously a grand mystery, and it is like gold. It's going to be crystal clear once I zoom in on it, and how clear this picture actually is, but it is cursed to females. We are mainly females in this group here tonight, so females that handle the picture even in a digital format, like a tablet or a cell phone, are said to get the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning: the headache, the nausea, the dizziness. Females that are handling it and they are pregnant, probably not going to have a good pregnancy based off of the gist of the stillborn baby in the story. So I'm not going to be the guy where somebody had a great honeymoon and 9 months later I curse their family. Don't touch my damn tablet as I go around 2 by 2 to show you all the picture. Is that obviously you guys see I take this stuff very seriously. Even in the events that something pops up relative to Sue's story, and I have to give you a link to be able to prove it, it does say warning cursed photo if it's in that link. A lot of times I'll put not cursed photo because I don't need to prove something about the photograph. So here's the picture that he fully took. Your apparition is right here. It's a woman praying over her own grave, and don't forget the baby basket right next to her. So this is another instance where the baby is buried with mom.
I just got moms on my.
So here's your full picture. Your apparition is right here. You're looking at a woman praying over her own grave with the baby basket next to her. You can see it like that would look very weird, especially in 1987.
Yes, but I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to be.
Full picture. Here's your apparition.
I'm really wrong.
And the baby basket's next to her. A lot of people miss that baby basket. So even when you zoom in on that baby basket on a computer, you can see the weaving of the basket. Like, it is crystal clear. So again, that's why they're all over there. They're passing around their photo. Like, that's their big happy finale. I hope that's not going to call it. Thank God it's not going to continue, because this is kind of a little bit of a detailed story. So let's talk about why we're here. We're going to be talking about that little building over there with the crosses on it. First off, those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. Most of you said you didn't take other tours around town, so let me explain what those are very quickly. Basically, if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, which we have not, you can turn those because they're on turnbuckles, and it's supposed to straighten the building back up again. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The only reason I bring it up is because this is the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. Why? Because it's the oldest government building in South Carolina, finished in 1713, which is exactly why we're here. This building was being constructed at the same time frame that Anne Bonny was coming to obviously our colonies at the time, to start her new life. So this is what I call a familiar ghost. We're here because this building's familiar. We don't have any buildings this old, especially ones that are en route to where tour guides are actually allowed to go. So this is a hit or miss location. This building took 10 years to build. Does that sound like our government? Small building, 10 years? No, not at all. But she comes here in 1708, right in the middle of its construction. Try to follow me, there's a lot of twists in this little story here. She comes here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress turns out to be her mother. Is everybody with me so far? Because again, a couple little weird twists. The three of them are running away from his angry wife. How mad was she? Just point that out. So they land in Georgetown, that's just north of here, about an hour. Dad bought a plantation, but Mom died pretty quickly. So that means he has to send young Anne down here to be able to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat. Hence why the building is familiar. Now, young Anne back home in Ireland, kind of a badass. They say she actually killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly when she was only like 7 to 9 years old. There's no exact number. So just put that mentality of this young lady in the back of your brains as we talk about the rest of her history. Fast forward, building's done in 13, pirates are coming through town in 1715. Anne's gonna fall in love with one of these pirates because she wants her freedom, just like a man. So the first guy she falls in love with, yes, I said first because there is quite a handful. We're gonna be discussing them all. First guy is James Bonny. You already see where this one's going because we mentioned Anne's full name already. The dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They ran away to Jamaica, they got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. But James Bonny, her new husband, is not Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. So, he's a coward in her eyes. She wants somebody else. She finds somebody else a few years later. His name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is the person that they based your Captain Jack Sparrow Disney character off of. So he is the Captain Jack Sparrow she was hoping for, literally. He has his own ship. She wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why?
She's unlucky.
They're bad luck. Right, exactly. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew. You're just going to hide your gender, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this. Why? Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to hide her away from his wife. But she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, let's do this. So let's put two and two together. Being a female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's female. So he decides he's going to send her off to Cuba with some friends of his where she can have the baby in peace and come back and they'll figure it out later. She goes and has the baby in Cuba but returns with no baby. We have no idea what happens to the child. So she's also dressed like a female. This makes Jack pretty angry because now the entire crew is going to know that he let a girl on his ship. While she was away giving birth to Jack's baby, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck, basically handcuffed. And Anne's going to go flirting with that pirate crew to make Jack even more mad, because that's who Anne is. We're on guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. Now we have 2 females on the same ship trying to be pirates dressed as males. This young lady's name is Mary Reed. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know. And she went by Mark Reed to become a pirate, just so everybody knows, because the name Mark will show up here from time to time. The British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one little measly pirate ship. Anne and Mary, from what we know, are the only 2 pirates that were not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks because they don't know how to use the cannon yet. Obviously, 2 ladies taking on a fleet of ships is not going to work out. So, as they're being arrested, she looks at her captain, her beau, Calico Jack, and she says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here often, again, one of the key word terms. The judge, his name is Nick as well. He wants to see, and when you guys hear my name, it's not me, it's usually this guy. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back so valiantly on their own after he's tried and hung Calico Jack and the drunken pirates that wouldn't fight. Anne and Mary go in front. They reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. He's still going to hang them. So he sends them, trying to send them both back to jail, and they plead their bellies, which means they're both claiming to be pregnant. You can't hang a pregnant woman at 1720. It's illegal. So again, he delays the hanging, then sends them back to jail. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, we're going to count Mary because we don't know. She has 4 kids and dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt ending. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later, 1721, in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in that Jamaican jail. Most articles and books will tell you that it was fever. I'm going to call bullshit and say it was scurvious and bumpy and gross and whatever your imagination wants to go to. So, 2 things I left out here on purpose. I'm not going to give a plethora of questions like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion site. You all know what you're doing by now. So, the 2 questions I left out are the name of Anne Bonny's parents. That's the father and the mistress. I left that out purposely so you have something to work with. I also left out the name of Calico Jack's ship. So that way, anything else is fair game. Remember, we're working with pirate lore. I don't have all the answers. One version of the story might say one thing, and then another one says the opposite. So again, what I told you just now were all things from common resources. One more thing before we spread out, because we're going to be able to go over to the cemetery. For those of you with cameras, if you want to go see the sign that says there's no ghost here from the church, by all means get us some footage over there if you'd like. Just don't get in the way of the other tours. Same thing with the front of the powder magazine. You can go to the front, just don't interrupt the other tours that are up there. Just kind of wait your turn. Again, we're spreading out. But there's another reason why I gave that heated warning at the top of the tour. Last September, not last month, but the year prior, I brought a group back here to that back wall, which is normally where I go, but there's a bunch of cars back there for us tonight. And the kid next to me literally goes white as a ghost, like dropping like a wet noodle. I have to pick him up by his armpit to stop him from hitting his head on the ground. His boyfriend picks him up from the other side of him. We get him over to that wall so he can sit down. He's feeling better after a bottle of water, yada yada, you get the point. I then tell them the story that I just told you. And as I spread everybody out, they pull me aside and they say, "Nick, we gotta tell you, we are 2 transgender males." Meaning I had 2 females dressed as males, just like Anne and Mary in the story, on my tour. And I didn't know it. And it made complete sense as to why one of them nearly passed out the minute we entered the space. This is the uncanny shit that I see on a regular basis. And when I say regular, it's about once every quarter I have an instance that happens. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it through past the Pinckney Mansion site, just so you all know. The high EMFs that come out of that place, it's just too much for them. I don't know how many times I've had to call the EMTs and paramedics. So there's a reason why I give all those warnings. So have some fun. This is our last stop. So again, there's cars around. Those of you with cameras, you guys already know the drill. I'm going to be kind of hanging out because you're going to be doing all the work. You guys know what you're doing by now. You're going to be reporting back to me. We're going to know within 5 to 7 minutes if we have activity going on here. If you don't really hear much, see much, just come back and report back to me at the wall. If you're getting a lot, we're going to realize we only have 9 instead of 10. So we're going to come and find you. All right, spread out. Let's have some fun.
I gotta have somebody in view at all times. I'm following you. I am.
How's that camera working?
Good. I actually, though, probably
I didn't
figured
know.
it would be, but
Everything's insured.
no, I am
just wanna
very
know which one.
clumsy, so no, it was not me. Ryan.
If you go to the front of the car, turn it down a little bit, there's the EMF from the parking meter. So I'm learning more and more about that with each night. So
Walk this way.
spelling last night, coat, while we were back at Pinckney Mansion site, and Charles, the son of Eliza, his full name is Charles Coatsworth. So Charles Coatsworth Pinckney. So I was pretty stoked that we had the coat coming.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that's a direct spelling. Like we're gonna
Yeah.
take it.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. And he's shown up for me in the past, but never with a direct spelling.
Right. This has all been pretty interesting, man. It's the first time
Walk
I've
to
been
this
here.
corner, Ryan.
What, babe?
Back here.
You said you can walk around the side.
I gotta have a heat
Yeah,
signal.
You can go to the front if you want to.
Okay.
You know, to get some footage, you just have to exit the lot and walk in front of the bushes.
Okay.
And just try to stay out of the way of the other tours. They're only going to be there a minute.
Okay.
But some people like to, with that camera, go over to the cemetery as well. And that's across the street. Again, that's where pretty much every ghost tour stops. So I
Right.
say, just wait your turn.
Yeah.
They're leaving.
All right. That's a
Okay.
good deal.
But either way, you guys
I'll
want to go.
follow you. Gotta have a heat signal. Shush it and go. Go, Ryan. Let's get the fuck on with this shit. Oh, shoot. Go. I gotta have your heat signal out, or you record.
Yeah.
You record me.
Getting anything on here? No. I definitely want you to turn the motion on.
As they're coming out of the graveyards, on purpose or on accident, I
What was her wife? Something. Yeah.
I love that you're using your phone to take notes.
So I don't have a good enough memory to capture all that.
Like.
Nadia.
I'm done with you. Like, let's go to bed.